Hello my dear friends, welcome to my channel Intermundos Magique, or Magic Between Worlds. My name is Nayeli and today we're going to do another timeless pick a card style of reading. Now this week is going to be a little bit different because since the time of recording this video, we are right before the new year. So if you're watching this right when the video is getting out, well, Happy New Year everyone. But if you're watching this video at any other time during the year, so this is a video where we're going to do an overview. So it's going to be a longer reading than what I normally do. So we're going to look at 2024 like a journey, and we're going to see a little bit what are the curves in this journey, what are the focusing points depending of the pile that you're going to choose. So it's very important that you take the time to choose the pile that you feel the most called to, because this is really going to dictate a lot of, if the reading will resonate with you or not. So take a moment when I'm going to show you the different crystals here that are making the piles. Take a moment to look at each one of them and really feel which one your intuition is calling towards. So crystal number 1 for pile 1, we have this crystal here. And it's a very beautiful crystal with kind of blues and purples. Okay. Pile number 2. We have this clear quartz tower here. And pile number 3. Not exactly a crystal. It's the abalone shell. Also lots of colors reflecting. Okay, so take the time to choose the pile that is calling you the strongest. So this is again pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And before we move on to pile 1, if you can, please do me this huge favor and like this video, hit the subscribe button. I post new readings every week, precisely during the weekend I post a reading. So if you want to be notified of also the next readings coming up, please hit the notification bell. And also let me know in the comments if the reading resonated with you, which pile you chose. I'd love to hear your feedback and hear how the reading resonated with you. Okay, and without further ado, let's move on to pile 1. So welcome back, dear friends of pile 1. So as you can see, I've already laid down the cards with the spread because we are doing a longer reading today, and there's more cards that we're gonna look at and take out. So instead of having you watch me or hear me shuffle for minutes and minutes on end, I've laid down the cards already for you. So first of all, if you chose pile 1, then you chose this crystal, which is a small fluorite tower. And it's actually quite an important crystal for me. It's on my altar all the time. It's one of the crystals that I have on my altar all the time. And the message that comes to me if you chose this crystal is to be in tune with your intuition. Some of you might have also some psychic abilities that are asking to be developed. And I also hear a message for others, that can be other people from this pile, that your intuition is trying to tell you things, and you could benefit a lot from listening to your inner voice more. And that might be something to work on for this year. There's also a message, but I don't think that's going to be for many of you, but maybe some of you. But I feel there's some of you that are kind of astral travelers, maybe have the ability for lucid dreaming, or interested in learning how to do astral projection, astral traveling, things like that. And this is kind of a sign or an invitation that there is something here, maybe dormant abilities that you have that are asking to be developed. So if that's something that interests you, then I would encourage you to look more into it. Try to see simple practices that you can do to start, whether it's in the realm of psychic abilities or astral traveling, or in general, simply learning to be in touch with your intuition more and learning to listen to your inner voice more. That this will help you in the future during this year. So now let's have a look at the cards. So we're going to start, the spread starts up here. Okay, interesting. The first impression that comes to me looking at these cards is I feel that many of you that are listening might be students of some kind, maybe even, higher up students, like maybe doing a master's degree, a PhD, something like that. There is a strong message about being in the academia and kind of feeling a little bit at a stop or at a corner, and this bringing a lot of stress and pressure and anxiety. So this feels like potentially your current situation coming in 2024. Other than academia, definitely there's some kind of strong institution that is kind of bringing you anxiety and stress and a little bit a feeling of being to a stop and not really knowing how to unlock the next step. Beautiful. Okay. So as the year progresses, it's interesting because as you can see, you have the Nine of Swords that is up here, and then you have the Ten of Swords that is down there. Normally, Nine of Ten of Swords, these are cards in tarot that normally we don't like to see so much because they bring in, conflicts or problems or trouble. But in your case, because this is coming at your current situation and then you're moving to the Ten of Swords here, the Ten of Swords actually means that the worst is behind you. So there's something that's showing me that whatever struggle you're dealing with entering in the year, and maybe in the first few months of the year, is you're going to make your way to finally put this behind you. And to make your way to put this behind you, there's a lot of searching for balance is going to help you. There is a message about learning how to manage your finances better. Maybe some of you might have some issues with spending too much. So there's a message about kind of learning how to balance out and manage your finances better, kind of take control of this. And this is going to give you the confidence to make the right choices throughout the year. Make the right choices for you. And the right choices for you might come in the form of hidden blessings. And it's interesting because it really ties up with the message here of listening to your intuition, because there's kind of a message of life bringing you gifts in the process. So life is going to try to show you signs and kind of bring you gifts at your doorstep. But if you don't have, if you're not in touch with your intuition enough, then you're probably not going to be able to recognize these gifts. But, it might come in the form of new relationships, new friends entering into your life. Even a new romantic relationship might be possible for those of you that are single, that are potentially, opening yourself up to a new partner. So towards the middle of the year, there is a lot of potential for a new relationship to come in. But this again is going to be, it's going to benefit you only if you're able to make the right choices for you. And to make those right choices, you need to be in touch with yourself. And so towards the end of the year, the struggles that you've been dealing with at the beginning of the year are going to be mostly behind you. You might still be dealing with some struggles in terms of, I don't want to say trauma, but, when something is finished, but still emotionally, it's still kind of in your emotional body, and you kind of have to give it time to heal from that situation. And there is a little bit of your financial situation also will probably improve, but there's a little bit of a cautionary tale here of it's okay to control your finances, but there's a fine line between over controlling and holding on to it and managing it well. So there's a little bit, of a cautionary message of, not falling too much into like a scarcity mindset. And at the same time, I see, a lot of opening up towards new dreams, new projects, new visions. But in the process, it's important to remember also, cherish and remember what you already have. Nice, okay. So, in the side of things too, energies that are working against you during that time, and this is the side of energies working positively for you. So if we look at the energies working against you, there is definitely something about your financial situation. It's okay to, want to grow your money. It's okay to be very focused on material things, but there's a balance to find there. And High Priestess is the card of intuition. So that the fact that it's, in the things to kind of watch out for indicates to me that you need to be really careful which inner voices you choose to listen to. And this again ties really well with the message that we had with your choice of crystal. Your intuition this year is going to play a major role, and it's important to fine-tune it in a way that it works positively for you and doesn't work against you, either by not listening to it or by confusing, some inner voices with the voice of your intuition. On the other hand, the things that work positively for you, so definitely relationships, romantic relationships, love. There's a lot of passion. There's a lot of, it's kind of what the Ace of Cups is bringing here. So, there's a lot of accent towards positive relationships, leading your life from a place of passion also. And this can be like passion for someone, but also it can be passion for what you do. And I think like this is where the big message of the temperance comes with. It's balancing your desire for material security with your heart's calling and with the relationships that life is going to bring into your life during the year. So let's take a few cards to clarify. Okay, interesting. So in your current situations, it's interesting because you have the Five of Cups here that shows up again, which shows up also here, but in that position as a clarification, this indicates to me that this feeling of being a little bit kind of stuck in your current situation, I feel it has to do something with an institution. I see a lot of, academic, university type of situation, and there's really a side of you that feels like you're dreaming of something else. Your focus is on thinking about the future and how can you change this? How can you get out of this situation that you're in? When is it going to be over? Etc. This is the kind of thoughts that I see you having in the spread that I see here. And a lot of anxiety. It seems like there's a lot of peer pressure also is the message that I'm getting. Difficulty of managing the peer pressure that the situation is bringing. Okay, fantastic. So this is the current situation going into 2024, but the situation evolves as the year moves on. So, after around the mark of the first quarter, after 3 months, 4 months or something like that, there's a really beautiful message here that says that you have everything you need to surmount the obstacles. So you will get out of, in a winning position here. So even if your current situation is not ideal in what you're experiencing, it is transforming in a really positive way. But that will come with, again, achieving some balance and getting a grip on your financials, which you will, according to, later on in the spread. But you do need to take actions for for things to happen, of course. Page of Cups. Great. So with the Ace of Cups, you have the Page of Cups. And in this tarot, what's interesting is that the Page of Cups is really kind of representing someone who is open-hearted, who is in the mindset or is in the heart set to accept what life is trying to bring them, trying to give them. And here you can really see that there's the bird is dropping something in the cup. So this is a symbol of the gifts that life wants to offer you. And in this position, it means that you have the disposition, you have the potential to have the disposition for accepting these gifts. And the lesson here is to, be open-hearted. Be open of mind, open of heart, to give an opportunity for these gifts to enter your life. And the year is going to end in a major shift for you. There is a major transformation happening. There is something about you shining a lot more, taking ownership of the direction you want your life to take, having major transformation happen that allows you to shine through it all. So not necessarily, it's going to be an eventful, it looks like an eventful year for sure. A lot of things to work on, but the potential for a really positive outcome and a really strong transformative experience. And again, here we have the Eight of Cups. So yeah, be careful not to put too much focus on the material side of things, because life is really trying to open you up on a heart level, emotional level. It's trying to show you new things, have you meet new people. And if you're too focused on the material and on skills and on career, you might be losing out on these things that life is trying to bring you. It's kind of interesting here because you have Death and the Devil that came. Well, Death card definitely indicates that this transformation that is happening is a positive thing. So this major shift and those major events that are going to happen are going to bring in a transformation that is really positive for you. It's going to be some kind of rebirth. And actually, now I'm understanding the message. So these two came out together, and I feel this transformation is breaking away from this. It's actually breaking away from the materialistic mindset that keeps kind of popping up a lot in this spread. So there's a big message here of transforming that mindset and driving it towards something that is a lot more heart-based, emotional, intuitive, taking the right decisions, but not necessarily the right decisions just only focused on the material level, also the right decisions focused on an emotional level. Okay, so let's see now. Let's take a few oracle messages. Amazing. Okay. So the first card that I said amazing too that came out is the Crow Spirit. And the message is co-create with Spirit. So Crow is a big symbol, a messenger between the worlds. It's very related to the Death card, which indicates transformation, rebirth in some way. And the message of this card is to walk and live your life always with an open heart and an open mind to what spirit or the universe is trying to bring your way. So, the message is your life is a co-creation between you and the forces in the universe. Then you have the wolf spirit that came out. And the message of the wolf on this card is to turn knowledge into wisdom. And the wolf is interesting because it has a strong message towards community. So wolves are very loyal and, they live in a pack. So there's a strong message of community, but there's also the message of being a lone wolf. So it kind of represents both aspects of, the aspects of being isolated from a community or feeling kind of the pressure of that community, or to be an integral part of a community and to live in harmony with our community. So the message here, turn knowledge into wisdom, is to, take what we know rationally and apply it in a way that benefits us in our lives. And then you have the eagle spirit, and the message is spirit has your back. And again, this is like another message. It really seems like a strong message from the spread to, be open and trust your intuition, trust the gifts that the universe is trying to manifest for you, is trying to bring to you. And you can only grab them if your heart and your mind is open enough to recognize them. So that's it for you, pile 1. I hope this message resonated and hope to see you next time. Welcome back, dear friends of pile 2. So if you chose pile 2, then you chose this crystal here, which is a clear quartz tower. So the message that comes to me if you chose this crystal, it's funny because I had one word actually pop into my mind, and it's the word temple. So I feel there is a strong message related to treating your home as a temple, treating yourself, your body as a temple. There's a lot of self-care, I feel, involved. Taking care of your health, eating better, exercising, putting more attention into building an environment maybe in your home that is better for you, maybe more inspiring, maybe more productive, decluttering maybe, this sort of thing, that this can be a focus for you in the year coming. So a lot of, taking care of yourself and your surroundings in a way that benefits you, that helps you. So let's see what the cards have to say. So like I said, for pile 1, I've already put down the spread since we're doing a longer reading, because we're doing a year-long overview. So already laid down the first spread. Very interesting with what I just said about the crystal. So, in your current situation, as you enter 2024, and in the first few months of 2024, there is something about, really developing your own path, your own security. This can be my financial security, but in this case, I really feel it's about more than that. It's about developing your own path, your own way of doing things, choosing the way you want your life to look like. And this means a lot of the time leaving some things behind. And it's okay to kind of be nostalgic of what once was, but we can also take these beautiful memories and these things that we carry from our past and let them shape us in a way that makes us unique and beautiful. And so these things that you carry with you from your past are what is going to shape who you are and who you're becoming in the coming year. And there's also kind of a lot of sensitivity involved. So there might be like things in your past that you're very sensitive about, which is okay. But the message here is about transforming this or using this sensitivity in a way that develops your own unique path going forward. Okay, so as you work your way towards that, as you work your way towards developing your own path, there's going to be, there's going to be like traps and pitfalls that you need to maybe watch out for. But these are normal things in any individual development. Every time that you're trying to walk out of the beaten path, so to speak, or really develop something that is unique, we're going to make mistakes along the way, and we're going to do detours, and we're going to go in ways that don't necessarily fit us. And that is all part of what it means to grow and what it means to shape our path. So there is kind of a cautionary tale of don't minimize your dream thinking that it's impossible, and don't try to make decisions purely based on rational and material desires. And also, to be careful not to fall into those traps of kind of not really allowing ourselves to think bigger, because we're so caught up in the day-to-day, and we're so caught up in what we need right now, and maybe financially we're struggling, and so it's really difficult to put our minds into realizing our dream career, because we feel like we need to do stuff right now. And that's all part of the way, but just know that there is a way for you to transform that and to actually reach like a higher stage, because you have everything you need to kind of reach a stage of abundance that comes from realizing your vision and from being able to responsibly kind of manage your material belongings. As you do this, though, just know that it's okay to ask for help from time to time. It's okay to reach out to the people who care for us and say that, we're struggling. We don't need to stay isolated in our situation. And probably we shouldn't. Probably just verbalizing to someone what we're going through would be helpful. As you move on to the year, what I'm seeing is that you're really working your way through achieving something that you're very passionate about. which is good. Just know that, along the way, it's going to bring anxiety. It's going to bring, it's not necessarily going to be easy, but that's also going to pass. This is something that you need to go through in order to achieve what you're really trying to achieve. Interesting. So, and the things to watch out for, the energies to watch out for during your year, there's a message about try to resist the temptation to give up and start over again. Try to resist the temptation of your mind saying, this is not going to work. Why am I doing this? Why do I even think that this is possible? I just need to do something else. Something here is trying to say, keep the course. Stay focused on your desires. Stay focused on what your heart wants. And it's okay to dream of more. It's okay. You don't need to stay anchored down on what you think you need to do because you're caught up in the struggle and the material stuff and the day-to-day struggle. It's okay to dream more, and actually dreaming more and focusing really on what your heart wants is really going to help you move forward this year. So let's clarify with another deck. Yeah, so I can see that in your current situation, in the path that you're looking to carve for yourself, you have a lot of options. There are different options that are going to present themselves to you. Many of them come from things you've already kind of initiated in the past years. But there's really a desire to kind of get out of the financial struggle or get out of the material struggle and kind of get a grip on that side of your life. And you're trying to find your way, your own unique way of doing that for yourself. These two came. Interesting. So you have again the Seven of Wands that is showing up here. And you have the Temperance here showing between those two messages, which is again a message of balance. So it's about, as you move towards your year, as you move into developing this path, it's about finding the balance between what you need to do right now, what your situation really demands, and the material struggles of daily life, paying the bills, things like that, and what your dreams are. And to find a balance between those two so that this doesn't completely take over and ends up, kind of bringing your dreams down too much. So there is a way for you to bring those two seemingly opposite desires in harmony together. And this is beautifully represented here, actually, as you're going to move through the year and the financial situation is going to sort itself out. And you're going to start to manifest this abundance and prosperity that you've been looking for, because you're going to be working on building this path of yours. There's also kind of this message of isolation here is tempered by a message of gratitude. There's a message here that's telling you, once you reach that point where maybe you've worked so hard on the whole process and you've struggled so much that you've isolated yourself in the way to kind of get out of the isolation is to take a moment to stop and be thankful. Be thankful to everything that you've achieved until now. Be thankful to what life has brought to you until that point during the year. And just to pause a moment and remember all the way that you've done until that point. And there's a lot of magic that happens when we start cultivating a spirit of gratitude in our lives. A lot of things tend to open up when we do that. And it releases a lot of the anxieties that we might be feeling. It also tends to attract people to us when we do that. So when we're feeling isolated, to try to cultivate a spirit of gratitude naturally attracts the right people into our lives. Amazing. So even though there is a lot of, messages of anxiety and stress and struggle kind of happening in your mind, in the reality of things, your financial situation is going to improve a lot. If you go through the steps and you follow the way, it's leading to a lot of prosperity. And it's leading to a prosperity that is guided by your ability to act and cultivate the positive things that are in your life. And this also means to cultivate your dreams, cultivate the things that you're passionate about, cultivate the relationships that you have that are bringing good into your life. Interesting. Interesting. So you have two aces showing up. So in the things to watch out for, you have the Ace of Cups. So to me, this is a clarification of the message of, being at this point when you feel like your mind is trying you to start over. And all of a sudden there's like this new shiny thing maybe that's going to present itself in your life, and you're like, well, maybe I can try that instead. And there's kind of a message here to be like, stay on the course of what you've decided you wanted to do in the first place. And on this side, on the side of the energies that work for you, so you have the Ace of Pentacles. So the message here is to instead to take the opportunities that come your way, that can bring you financial stability, that can help you build up your path to this independence that you're looking for. Don't let too much, the emotional side or the fear of failure or, new shiny things presenting themselves to you. distract you from the path that you're on. Stay the course. That's the strong message that is coming from this spread, is stay the course. Choose a path, make your way through, and it's going to bring the prosperity and abundance that you're looking for. Yeah, so let's have a look at some oracle messages. Okay, this is the first message that came up for you. And it's amazing because this is what I just was talking about. So you have the turtle spirit that came up, and the message is slow and steady wins the race. So it's really about, just continue your way through everything. Just keep walking forward, even if it's slowly but surely. You'll get there. Try to eliminate the distractions. Try not to be tempted into changing your course. Slow and steady wins the race in this case. Wow. Very appropriate messages according to the reading that we just had. So the second message that came is the squirrel spirit. And the squirrel comes to tell you to believe in yourself. So there couldn't be a more auspicious message of you being able to really develop your own way and your own path. And you just need to believe in yourself. Don't let these imposter syndrome voices distract you from achieving your dreams, from going for what you want. And lastly, you have the snake spirit that says it's time to heal. So this, I think, is really relevant to probably the current situation that we had in your reading with the things that you are carrying from your past into the new year. So there are some things there, probably emotionally, that still need some healing. And it also ties up well with the message of the crystal, which is to take care of yourself. A lot of self-care. When we're in moments where we need healing, self-care is the best thing that we can do for ourselves. To learn how to be our own best friend. So that's it for your reading, pile 2. I hope it resonated. Please let me know in the comments if it did. And hope to see you next time. Hello, dear friends of pile 3. So if you're here, it's because you chose this abalone shell. So the message that is coming to me with this shell Well, first for me, abalone has always been a very magical material. Like, it's always been a very magical gift of nature, because I think it looks so stunningly beautiful. Like now with the reflect of the light, it doesn't do it justice, but there's so many different colors and patterns that you can see in abalone shells. So the message that I'm receiving, if you picked this shell, is to focus in 2024, focus on bringing in more magic into your life. And that can mean breaking away from your daily routines, kind of, maybe developing a little bit more of an adventurous side, trying things that you've never tried before, to try to integrate few things that kind of bring this sense of magic into your daily life, is the message that I'm getting. Also, there's a message about possibly opening yourself up to romance, allowing for romance in your life, whether you're single or with a partner, simply to maybe allow more room for that aspect of your life in general. So let's see what the cards have to say. So as I did with pile 1 and pile 2, since we're doing a year overview and we're going to look at more cards, I've already laid down the first spread so that you don't have to hear me shuffle for minutes and minutes on end. So I already laid down the cards for the first spread. So let's have a look. Well, okay. Starting strong in 2024. So, in your current situation, it seems like there has been in the very near past, or there will be, a lot of dramatic changes in kind of your day-to-day situation. And it's interesting because of what I've said here. But this card, the Four of Wands, represents the home, stability, our environment. And there's something very, I don't want to say shattering, but there's something very strong happening that is going to transform the situation. And this is paired with the Justice card. And the Justice is really kind of receiving the results of our past actions. There's something very karmic when the Justice card comes in. So whatever is happening or is going to happen is something that that has been kind of planned, quote unquote, but energetically planted in the past already. So there's something very much that it's meant to happen. So whatever seems to be kind of earth-shattering transformation or changes or challenges, it's there for a reason, and it's there because of seeds that you've planted in the past. And ultimately, usually when this is the case, even though these transformations can be really difficult, they always take us somewhere better. They take us where we need to be. So, and yeah, and this is what's happening. So as you're moving through the year, as these transformations are happening, there are many. Life might manifest a lot of kind of hidden blessings. It might manifest also in terms of people, new relationships, new love, potentially, that is going to influence the decisions that you take to kind of rectify the situation that you're in, to kind of rectify whatever you feel has been destroyed or, has fallen down in that first part of the year. So these relationships and these kind of gifts from life are going to help you support your decisions. And you're going to have important decisions to make. Interesting. This is, I think it was pile 1 that had the same combination of cards, not exactly at the same position, but there seems to be a strong message related to that. So whatever decisions that you're making, and these decisions are about your financial situation, your material situation, how you want to kind of place the conditions for your life to grow from there. There is going to be a temptation to kind of limit yourself out of necessity. So you might have a lot of dreams and aspirations that you want to happen, but at the same time you're going to be focused on what are your immediate needs right now. And there's a little bit of a caution message to not to let those dreams kind of die down because you're too much caught up in your material needs at the time. It's okay to think about your material needs, obviously, but not to let your the higher picture, the bigger picture, disappear because of that. Interesting. There's also a message to be careful not to be too caught up in potentially toxic relationships. And your intuition is going to be the best, your best friend here. Your intuition is very strong. It's a gift that you have that can be developed further, and that you will develop as the year goes by and you move through these stages in the year. And that intuition is going to be your biggest asset to actually, rise above the temptation to only be stuck on the material necessities. Rise above and reach a really high level of success. Whatever your dreams or aspirations, there's a strong message that, towards the end of the year, you're really going to see kind of the fruits of your labor manifest. You're going to receive clear signs that things are working out for you in a big way. And in the energies to kind of watch out for, things that can work against you, there's a sense of, again, being too much focused on competition and having too much of a mind, like a strategical mind for money. Only thinking about the material is not necessarily what you want to do. And at the same time, to be careful with toxic relationships, to be careful with people that are maybe emotionally needy, taking too much of your energy or your attention. And so it's good to invest time in your relationship, but just make sure that these are the right relationships for you. And on the side of, interesting, on the sides of the energies that work positively for you. So it's interesting because the Seven of Swords is not usually a positive card, but in this position and paired to the King of Swords, what it's telling me is that you might be struggling a lot with limiting beliefs And this goes also with the message from the devil here. So you might have a lot of mental chatter that is limiting you. And the message here is to take the time to actually examine those limiting beliefs and work on them, work to surpass them, surmount them. So this can mean, doing a lot of introspection, doing shadow work, really kind of digging deep into these voices that are limiting you and understanding why they're there and understanding what they're trying to tell you actually. What is it that you're really afraid of? What is it that you're really trying to avoid? And there's a lot to learn for you in understanding these thoughts that you might have. So let's clarify a little bit with another deck. So in your current situation or entering in the year, for the first few months of the year, these shattering events that we were talking about, there's a message here like, first, be careful of how you spend your money. Be careful that you're spending your money in the right places, that you're not overspending. There's a cautionary message here to be kind of smart about how you're spending your money. And also, there's a need to maybe isolate that is there, but at the same time, be careful not to overdo it, especially if you're, going through some tough times. You might be going through a period that is also isolating, and so, it's important to remember that you can always reach out to people. Life is always there trying to, like, this person is alone, but the universe is there handing them cups. So it's your choice whether you stay in that isolation or not. The universe is there to kind of, take you by the hand, take you out of that isolation if you want to do so. A lot of auspicious messages about your financial choices, moving through the year, like passing the first 3-4 months. These new relationships and these decisions that are going to pop up have the potential to bring you a lot of abundance and prosperity. Also, there's a potential for really being fulfilled. To have new relationships that really fulfill you, which is great. Interesting. So when you reach to that point now, or past the 6 month, reaching the second half of the year, 6 to 9 months, and you reach that point where, the temptation to only focus on the material, to kind of let go of the bigger picture of the dreams, is there. This is a point where you feel stuck. But it's important to remember that, it's not necessarily any kind of stuck. The hangman is also a moment of illumination. So as much as we feel stuck, these are moments that afterwards bring us a lot of clarity. So to understand that this feeling of being stuck isn't going to last forever, and it's because the universe is kind of putting together all the pieces for you to go through the next level. And it's really important to use this time well. So not to fall into the temptation of only, thinking about necessity and needs and material and, maybe even like limiting beliefs and addiction and things like that. But also remember our bigger picture, remember our dreams, our aspirations, our desires. Wow, very interesting. So, towards the end of the year, these two came out together, so I'm going to read them together. Towards the end of the year, you have the Judgment card, which to me is kind of a continuation of the Justice card. And you have the Four of Wands again. So, what this shows me, and paired with the Success cards and the Aspiration card, is that you're going to have a very kind of transformational year, a very powerful year that is going to really reassess your conditions, like what you want your life to look like, where you want to live, where you want your home to be, how do you want your home to be, maybe even family, relationships, everything that gives you stability and security. You're really kind of going to harvest the fruits of all that process towards the end of the year with the Judgment here. And this is really, kind of a card that really depends on the process that you do before that. It depends on the choices that you make. It depends on how you reflect on that period with the Hangman, how you take this time of kind of feeling stuck to kind of transform the energy and take it in a direction that propels you up, that propels you forward. So very auspicious messages here for the end of your year. Definitely an eventful year, definitely full of a lot of transformation, a lot of things happening, but also a lot of success waiting for you. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So to clarify the energies that can work against you. Again, we have the Page of Swords, which kind of goes with these. So be careful, instead of examining your limiting beliefs, be careful not to fall prey to them. So be careful for them not to take over your thought process and change the direction that you're taking. And with the Hierophant, so the Hierophant is a lot about institution. So the fact that it's in this position kind of tells me that if you are part of a, strong institution, maybe you're in the corporate world, maybe you're in the academia, maybe you have like some governmental job or something like that. Be careful for that not to bring you down so much that you forget your own personal dreams and aspirations. So not to fall into the trap of letting that dictate how you think about yourself, how you think about your dreams and your direction. And be careful for negative mental patterns. And on the other end of the spectrum, so in the forces that work positively for you, you have the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune really goes with everything that we said. It really shows kind of this link with the judgment, the justice going to judgment here. And, this really depending on the path that you're taking during the year, because the Wheel of Fortune simply says that things are in motion, everything is moving, and the outcome of it really depends on you. It's really in your hands. So it's a very empowering card. And basically because it's coupled with what we were saying here about examining your limiting beliefs and transforming them. So the Wheel of Fortune is really there to say, well, there's potential for movement in a very positive direction. It all depends how you mutate or transform your thought patterns. So really there's a big message here about taking care of your thought patterns, transforming them, examining them, understanding them, and have your thoughts work for you instead of against you. So let's finish with a couple of oracle card messages. Amazing. So we'll examine the message in a bit. Beautiful. So the first message that came up is the pig spirit. But the pig spirit in this case tells us, use your mind wisely. So what was I just talking about? So use your mind wisely, and also you got it in the what we call the protection position for this deck. We call that the protection position. So it's really an indicator that, again, thought process that are working against you, and that you would have all advantages to pause, examine them, understand them, and work to transform them into something that will help you instead of something that will sabotage you. Like there's a lot of a feeling of auto-sabotage with this message, also in the reading. So be careful about that. That might be a major, point to work on for you in 2024. The second message that you got is the lion spirit that says, be generous of spirit. And again, you got it in the protection position in reverse. So the message here is not to be afraid to follow your instincts, follow your heart, and to let people in to your life also, which ties in really with the message from the abalone shell that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading. When we're afraid of being generous of spirit, we're afraid to let people in. We are afraid of giving of ourselves to the world, either because we think that we're not worth it, or because we're afraid of rejection, whatever the cause might be. So the message here is to not to be afraid, to actually, open ourselves up, and not to be afraid to give out, to put out of ourselves in the world. And lastly, you finish with this very beautiful message of the horse spirit that says, freedom is yours. So whatever you're working to develop for your life during this year, you have the power. This is kind of like the wheel of fortune. You have the power to influence events to take you in the right direction, to take you in the direction that you want to go. Things are in movement, and you have the power to build your own freedom. So a lot of very positive and auspicious messages, especially moving from the second half of the year towards the end. So thank you so much, friends of Pile 3, for being here. And I hope to see you next time.